Time to musk up. Wow.
All right, back again. Today, I want to talk about a house that gets a lot of hype. I don't hear a lot of negative things about this house, and just with my experience over the years, I just find it to be very overrated in general, and that is the house of Xerjoff. So I want to start off by reading a blurb from Fragrantica, and it says, Xerjoff is an Italian fragrance brand created in 2003 by Sergio Momo, offering distinctive fragrances composed of the finest ingredients and exquisite packaging. Designer Xerjoff has 165 perfumes in our fragrance base. Now, oddly enough, it says 2003, but the first release is 2007. And 165 perfumes divided by 16 years brings it to 10.3 perfumes per year. And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up. But if you go back to 2003, who knows, maybe Fragrantica doesn't have everything. And I think that brings it to like 8.3 fragrances per year. Casa Mirati, there's two lines on there. So they have Casa Mirati and they have Chemi. Both of those are owned by Sergio Momo. Casa Mirati was an old Italian perfume house that was revived by Xerjoff. And he also created Chemi fragrances. And just recently, they put all of the Chemi fragrances into Xerjoff bottles, I guess, for marketing purposes. Because Xerjoff is so big, it's a lot more familiar, so they just put it all together. And I think Sergio Momo is the creative director for the house as well. Yeah, so let's get in. So packaging, right? Packaging is, in my opinion, is probably one of the best thing about Xerjoff fragrances. When you open them up, you take the cellophane off, you take the box out, and they have this nice little kind of coffin, whatever you want to call it, opens up. Then you move these like quilted sheets to the side, you take the bottle out, and then some of them, they give you this here. They basically give you, I don't know, they say it's a meteorite. I don't know. Who knows if it really is a meteorite? And they give you the coordinates of it. This is from the Shooting Stars collection. I forgot when I sold it, I forgot to give the person one of these because I used to have 6 bottles from Xerjoff and I ended up selling all of them. I bought them more in the beginning of my collecting when I kind of fell for a lot of these reviews and stuff like that. And then my taste changed as the years went by. And so just the bottle and everything, the cap, very, very nice. So like, as far as that is concerned, it's like an A+, right? But I have an issue with that because when the packaging looks like it's more expensive than the oils that go inside of the bottle, I start to question things. That brings me to the next thing, ingredients. Now, I don't know if, like they said, they use the finest ingredients. As far as their marketing, I don't think they ever go distinctively into the certain ingredients that go into a bottle. I know Richwood used to say that it had Mysore sandalwood in it, and I don't know if I believe that necessarily because it's really hard to get that from India nowadays because of the regulations. When I smell the fragrances, I don't really get the kind of this impression of the finest ingredients, in my opinion. And that also brings me to the compositions. Now, you can, sometimes perfumers, the best perfumers, can make a fragrance smell great with not having some of the best ingredients. But in this case, the compositions also really throw me off here. All of the notes don't really blend well. Xerjoff all have this kind of distinctive kind of Play-Doh plastic smell running through the fragrances all the time. The notes kind of very flat. They don't like, they just hum, right? They're just like, I don't know, it's just a straight line. I don't get any vibrations or anything from the fragrances. even their citruses, I know people used to say that Xerjoff had some of the best citruses, but in my opinion, the citruses were not that good. They were very flat. They didn't sparkle. And of course, for the price, right? That's usually the main issue, right? What are you getting for what you pay for? And I think most of the money goes into the presentation, right? It's a lot of that is marketing. By the time you open it and get to the fragrance, and in your mind, you have this belief that this is the best thing in the world that you're buying, right? And that's another thing, that their marketing is one of the best as well. But as far as citruses is concerned, stuff like Chanel, Beirut, Deauville, I mean, like, these citruses just sparkle and just feels like it gives you life. Hermes, another house with some of the best citruses. Guerlain also has some really, really good citrus fragrances. The ones in the Aqua Allegoria line. I think those are some of the best citruses you're gonna get, in my opinion. And like, I don't know, I don't want to completely like feel like I'm trashing them, but like I said, I had Uden Overdose, I had Neo, I had MV Augusta, I had Richwood, and I had Pico Valladama. Now, oh, and the one from the Casa Marati, Mephisto Gentle Uomo. For reasons, all of them, like I said, always had that plasticky Play-Doh undertone to them, which was, I don't know, really weird. I don't know. And I brought up how many perfumes they released per year is because they feel like they're just kind of rushed. They do use some of the best perfumers to make them. I don't know exactly which flavoring house that they use, but they all have that same smell, that plastic Play-Doh undertone, and the composition and the blending is just not there for me, especially for the price that you're going to pay for them. Fortunately, a lot of them, most of them, end up on discounters, heavily discounted, and I would say that's the only time to really buy them. They have some exclusives for like Harrods, I think for like Selfridges they've done before, and they started like doing these like really limited edition bottles. I forgot which one of them is called. I think it was the 6th Floor, and I have a sample of it. And I'm not just saying this to say it, right? Like I have sampled them. I've tried many. I've gone to Saks Fifth on 5th Avenue, New York City, right? And I've tried them, right? Like Tony Iommi wasn't bad, and oddly enough, it didn't have those plastic undertones like many of the other fragrances do. I think Casa Marati line was like one of my favorites from them, although still very flat in composition, not very lively. So yeah, so Richwood was nice, kind of in this Coromandel direction, but just like no patchouli really, sweeter, woodier. MV Augusta was nice actually, but it was basically like a more modern version of something like Cuir de Russie, while Cuir de Russie was this kind of like old Russian boot kind of leather and like cigarettes. It had Ylang in there as well, the Cuir de Russie and MV Augusta, so it kind of gave that vintagey kind of vibe. But MV Augusta had this kind of rubber plastic smell in it as well, and it kind of it was in the black leather realm, and so I don't know, I didn't need it, right? I sold that one. Kobe is kind of this like resinous sweet citrus kind of fragrance, but like I said, the composition, the balance was not there. The resins were just way too high with this sharp neroli, and to be honest, it came off kind of like motor oil to me. Herba Pura, the one in that kind of velour kind of bottle, that whole collection is one of that one I can't stand. Herba Pura remind me of like a melted McFlurry in a bowl with a bunch of fruits. It was just, it was kind of nauseating and very powerful, like many of them in that Velvet Bottle line. And so at the end of the day, I basically put Xerjoff in the realm of Bond number 9, but like a little bit higher, right? I don't know who really pays full price for Bond number 9. They're heavily discounted, you know, 150, 200 tops to pay for a Bond number 9, 100 ml. And that's exactly where I put Xerjoff. And like I said, that's my opinion, that's my taste, that's just how I feel. I do think they have some decent releases, but most of them are from the earlier years. Nowadays, it feels like they're just pumping things out like crazy, and I don't know. Yeah, but the house just isn't for me, and I just find them to be a little overrated. But yeah, that's just what I think. Let me know what you think, if you like Xerjoff, if you don't, and which fragrances you do like from them. I don't mind hearing your opinions. All right, take care, guys. Bye.